Hi, Stuart Sutton. Hope you're having a great day. Hindsight is 2020. We all know that. But sometimes you can use hindsight in order to make decisions for the future. But sometimes it's nice just to have the information. So we're going to look at Round Rock, Georgetown, Leander, Liberty Hill. And we're going to see if you bought a home on an acre or more 5 years ago, where would you be today? I'll jump right in and give you those stats. We can see who happened to buy in the best locations. So we're going to start with Georgetown. Georgetown obviously has some huge benefits as far as buying homes is concerned. It's got one of the most famous town squares in the state, maybe the country. Lots of different things going on in Georgetown. It's growing so fast. If you had bought a home on an acre or more at an average price of $496,852 5 years ago, today it'd be worth about $907,910. That's an 83% increase. That is a really nice run up in equity, no doubt about it. You're making, just by owning a home on an acre or more in Georgetown, $82,000 a year. That's not a bad addition to your salary or your income, I bet. And Georgetown, of course, is a great place to live. But what about Leander? It's also growing. Lots of positives as far as Leander is concerned. Close to the lake, just beautiful hill country there. 102.57% was the amount of the increase. If you bought a house, an average price house. Now, the average price house in Leander, much higher than the average price house in Georgetown 5 years ago at $597, so just shy of $600. Average price home now, $1.2 million. So you made a $613,000 profit in 5 years, or actually not profit because there's other things involved. But so you sat there and made about 122 grand a year, 122,684. Really not bad at all. Liberty Hill, it got discovered. Liberty Hill used to be this quiet little town. Now it is blowing and going. As a matter of fact, there are more homes on an acre or more in Liberty Hill right now than in any other community. And it's not even close. So $412,000, the best average price if you were looking for affordability 5 years ago. The average price there now is about $862. Still the low end of the average prices, but it's catching up and catching up fast. Liberty Hill is still a good bang for your buck, but you made about $450,000 in equity, or right at $90,000 a year if you bought in Liberty Hill 5 years ago. Then in Round Rock actually has the fewest homes on an acre or more because it is now, well, not landlocked, but surrounded, of course, by Austin, Cedar Park, Pflugerville, Georgetown. But there are fewer homes on an acre or more. The average price 5 years ago was pretty low as well, $444, not as high as Leander by any means. Leander, one of the reasons the average price is considerably higher is because of a very large 1 acre plus community there called Grand Mesa. So those home prices help pull all of Leander up. You made about $600,000 if you bought a home in Round Rock 5 years ago, or about $120,000 a year. Adding an extra $120,000 a year to your net worth, not bad at all. Let's take a look at two factors. If you bought a home at the average price for that community, Leander won out. You would be ahead if you bought a home at the average price. Now, as you can see, Round Rock is very, very close, then Liberty Hill and Georgetown. Now, why is Georgetown lagging? Well, quite sincerely, there were more homes on an acre more in Georgetown for a long, long time. Liberty Hill has recently exceeded Georgetown. Georgetown was considered a little farther out. Liberty Hill was considered a little farther out. So the closer in you get, you tend to see a little higher prices. So I hope that makes sense. But let's take a look at another scenario. So if you bought a home at the average price, obviously the average price in Leander was considerably higher than the average price in Liberty Hill or Round Rock or Georgetown. So what if you bought a home at $500,000 in any of these communities? Now you'd get less house in Leander for $500,000 than you would in Liberty Hill for $500,000, for example. But if you bought a house for $500,000, Round Rock would have won out. So if you'd have spent the same amount of money, you'd have made $678,000 in equity in Round Rock, and that's a lot more than any other community. Because if you remember, the average price in Round Rock was considerably less than others. So, Round Rock makes you the most money if you buy a home at the same price as one of the other communities. It had the most equity buildup in that run up over that last couple of years. All of them did well. You might look at Georgetown and say, well, it didn't make as much, but I mean, can you really complain? That's nearly $100,000 a year. That's a lot of equity buildup. Yes, Georgetown did lag behind the other communities, but quality of life is extraordinary in Georgetown. Anybody that lives in Georgetown will tell you, and the same for Leander, Liberty Hill, and Round Rock. But don't dismiss Georgetown just because the last 5 years saw it lag behind the other communities. The future of all of these areas is absolutely fantastic. If you have any questions on it, homes on an acre or more, of course, don't hesitate to let me know. And I did add another video here. If you haven't seen it, this one is what happened in 22. There's some pretty interesting information there that you might want to take a look at if you have an interest in homes on an acre or more. Hope to see you on that video.